So, Amazon Prime has dropped not three spy shows, but a universe that connects. It's called Citadel. And it's basically a spy thriller lovers universe. I say lovers because in all three shows, there's a lover to a spy. And both lovers are spies. It's as if Jason Bourne met and had a baby with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, the show consists of a central series and then multiple spin-off series, and so far they've all been set in different countries. The main focus or main series is called Citadel. It focuses on Mason Kane and Nadia Singh. Mason, who's played by Richard Madden, and Nadia is played by Priyanka Jonas. They are elite agents of the Citadel Agency, which is destroyed by a rival syndicate called Manticore. Now, throughout every show that's aired so far in this universe, Manticore is the bad guy, and is never shown to be the opposite way around or even questionable if Citadel's actually the bad guys. It's Manticore is bad and Citadel is good. Plain black and white as that. Citadel falls. Mason and Nadia's memories are wiped, and 8 years later, they're living separate lives until Bernard Orlick, who's played by Stanley Tucci, reactivates Mason to stop Manticore's rise. Now, throughout the first season, Mason's memories haven't returned, and the story consists of the mysteries of who's the traitor that helped take Citadel down, and the tension between what Nadia and Mason used to be to each other. This first series, and pretty much the rest of the series, explores the themes of betrayal and secrets, and especially the complexities between a spy and a relationship. Again, Citadel is the main narrative, the central narrative for the entire Citadel universe, and the show revolves around these people. Now, Citadel Diana is the Italian spinoff. It focuses on Diana, who's an undercover agent and connected to Mason and Nadia, but they never speak about Mason and Nadia, and I don't even think she ever actually meets them. But she does work for Citadel, and she's an undercover agent for Citadel in Manticore. Diana became a spy for Citadel and an undercover agent at Manticore so she could get justice for her parents who died in a plane crash that was not an accident. She wanted justice and closure, but what happens when the company or the agency you're actually working for gets taken out by the agency you're pretending to work for? So she has to play the part of the good Manticore agent for a long 8 years, thinking Citadel's gone for good. And throughout her show, it seems like her loyalties are both questioned by, the Manticore, the head of Manticore, but also herself and who she's supposed to be staying loyal to if there is no agent to report back to with the information you're getting. Now, the timeline of this consists on the exact same time that the main Citadel series is happening. So when in the first series it says 8 years later, and in Diana says 8 years later, this is happening at the exact same time, only in different parts of Europe. The connection between the shows that they show explicitly just helps build on the global conflict between Citadel, or the remnants of Citadel, and Manticore. Before going dark, Diana sends out a video message asking for help, or at least of contact with other agents, hoping she's not the last one. And in the first show, they have a case. So when we head back to the main series, I'm hoping they play her video and then link them together in that way so that Diana knows she's not the last agent of Citadel. She's actually one of many agents left. Now, the second spinoff is called Honey Bunny, and I realized that all the spin-off shows so far have been named after the characters. So whatever spin-off they make next is definitely going to be a name. And I just thought that was funny. It focuses on Indian agents tasked with handling Manticore's influence in South Asia. Now, this show is where a struggling actress, an actress struggling for money, gets offered a job by a friend, but this job is dangerous. And even though they initially fail this job, her and her friend, by crazy means, end up succeeding. She becomes an agent like him because she wants a sense of purpose like he has. So he trains her. Now, after she sees what's wrong and doesn't really like what's going on, she ends up faking her death and betraying this seemingly small operation. She has a child, and 8 years later, this child is in danger, and the man she stole from wants his weapon back. And the father of this child, her friend in the beginning of the show, comes to find out she's not dead and helps his family survive this attack by the agency he used to work for. The rest of the shows is a mix of previous flashbacks and present day events within the show. But this show is set in 1999, I believe, and actually happens before everything between Citadel and Manticore goes down. So this is when Manticore believe they're working in the dark, they're silent, nobody knows who they are, and also Citadel's still standing. This show explores how Citadel's operating in multiple, like universally, but also so is Manticore, and how they're operating in Asia. And I believe the show is about Nadia's parents, because the child in the show is named Nadia. So I believe this show is about who her parents were and added context for her backstory, though it's not explicitly stated. Hilariously, I would just like to state that if Honey and Bunny are Nadia's parents, both her and her mother hid a pregnancy and a daughter from her father for 8 years using the exact same excuse of you weren't trustworthy and you didn't deserve to know. Now, in Mason's case, he found out before the 8 years and didn't care enough to do anything about it, but then lost his memory, so he had to find out a second time. And Bunny just didn't know until she was 8. I believe there are going to be multiple spin-off shows of this series. I'm not sure how many they're going to make, but it feels like they're really adapting a universe here. I wouldn't say it's even close to one of the best universes I've ever seen, because they're just starting. But I do think that it's a really good show, and if you're into spies, you're into thrillers, you want a little bit of romance sprinkled in there sometimes, I would definitely watch it, because whereas Citadel, the first show, is heavily romantic and heavily implied that Mason and Nadia are meant to be and blah blah blah, Diana is not like that. Her show is more essentially about her being an agent and her bad relationship that she's generating with her sister because she's an agent, more so than anything having to do with love. And Honey Bunny goes back to there's a large romance element here. So if they stay on this trend, hopefully the next one will be less about love, like Diana was. And hopefully the show continues to focus on other regions, other cultures, and how they're dealing with Citadel, but also how many more agents are out there like Mason and Nadia and Diana of the present day. What are they doing? How are they coping with Citadel's fall? How many are dead? There's a lot of questions they have completely open-ended and haven't answered yet. So as they build and continue, it would just be interesting to see where they take this show and if they're making like movies or just TV shows, you know? Also, where is this going? What is the end result? Major characters like Mason, Nadia, and Bernard of the first series do not appear in spin-offs. Unless, of course, you're counting the child, which, again, that was not explicitly stated. That's what I think. But that might not always be the case. They can and might show up in other shows. They just haven't yet. Each spin-off introduces agents who contribute to the larger narrative. And at some point in all the spin-offs and all the pieces will come together. But to what end is what I would like to know. I'm really into this universe so far. I love Spies. I love spy stuff. It's so interesting to me. And I'm extremely excited to see what spin-off comes next and to see which show gets their next season first. I personally would love to see the first Citadel show get their next spin-off before the rest, because I deeply need to know what happens between Mason and Nadia you'll just have to watch and find out. But also I would love to see what happens to Nadia's father and Honey Bunny, if that's her father, wink wink, we both know it is. And also what happens to Diana, whose side is she playing for, and what happens if she chooses Manticore and then finds out Citadel's still alive and rebuilds building? There's a lot of open-ended questions here, and I'm always here for it. One thing about me is mystery. It's always gonna hook me in. I love a good mystery, and that's why I read constantly. Now, if you would like to, discuss this show, please let me know what your thoughts are. And if you disagree or agree, I would really like to know why. That is this episode. Have a good day.